Hello everybody, Loremaster of Sotek here. Hope you're all doing well. And welcome to the first of a new series I'm really excited to put on the channel, which you may have heard about a little bit on my Twitter account, which is my, I'm going to call it the Legends of Lore series. So basically what this is I'm collecting from people their favorite legendary lord or generic lord or sub-faction or whatever it is it's going to be, and try and build armies that fit a very specific lore-based theme. So for instance, I went on Twitter, asked people what they wanted to see for the first one, and the first thing that I saw was Curse Fanatic wanted to see Wurrzag. That just happened to be the first one I saw. So that's what we're running with today. So to go over my army for you guys, I've got 6 units of infantry in the front, 2 of which are Savage Orc Biggins, the rest of which are Savage Orcs, because obviously you gotta have an all Savage force. We also have a Orc Shaman leading my infantry force. He doesn't have any spells. He just had the scroll of shielding, and then he's just gonna get in there to wallop. But he's also there to act as a leadership bunker in case something happens to Wurrzag. Speaking of which, we've got Wurrzag, the Great Green Prophet, up on his Piggy Spleen Rippa. And I am running all of his items and abilities as it should be. And already I'm having to dodge Skaven Fireworks here. But for spells, I'm only running Fist of Gork and Brain Bursta. And that's so I can maximize the number of casts I get. Then we have a giant coming in behind us on the battlefield. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to get war paint on him, but a giant is still something you would very, very often see running around with Savage Orc tribes. Then I've got 5 units of Savage Orc Error Boys backing up the back line, and then running around the flank, I have 2 units of Savage Orc Boar Boys. Now we're going up against a Skaven player on the quick battle ladder by the name of Unknown. And his army consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of slaves. Yep. And he's got 2 units of plague monks, 4 units of rat ogres. He's got Lord Skrulk on foot with both of his items, Plague Breath and Vermintide. Then he's got the Council Guard, Storm Vermin. He's got Natty Bubo sharpshooters who are already trying to shoot Wurrzag, but I'm juking to the best of my ability over there. Then he's got looks like 4 units of clan rats with shields, and then a big old plague priest on a furnace who also has Vermintide, and then his passive for casting, and it looks like he has Plague Breath, but that's likely from the furnace itself, not the actual spell. So without further ado, let's get started. So, he only has 1 shooting unit. It is possible to juke it, so I'm just kind of riding around trying to get them firing in the wrong direction while using this hill as cover. Because Wurrzag is fairly squishy, especially against heavy armor-piercing missiles, so I'm just doing my best to avoid stuff. And just as our lines are about to cross, pop the WAAAGH, and in we go. Sorry about that. So with WAAAGH active, there's going to be no doubt in my mind that my Savage Orcs are going to absolutely tear through this line. We are of course going to get a couple of nasty charges from these rat ogres, but already I've got all of my archers going in on Natty Bubo sharpshooters, just because 5 units of Savage Orc Airboys, it doesn't really matter how good your defenses are, that's going to start to grind through it. Here, most of the Skaven units that we impacted on the charge have been pretty much wiped out. I do have my giant coming in here trying to deal with the Plague Priest as quickly as possible. We get off a big old Brain Bursta, scattering Skaven everywhere. And now I'm just unleashing everything I have on this engine. I hit effigy to get on it, which is going to do damage over time. Having my Savage Orc Error Boys, all 5 of them shooting it, and having the giant wallop on it. And you can see it is just taking so much damage. It is just getting ripped to pieces. It is firing off Plague Breaths, which are going to do some damage. But over here on the flank, we do catch a Rat Ogre unit with a massive horde of just Boar Boys backed up by infantry. Another unit of Rat Ogres charges in, but we should be able to handle it. I am trying to get back to where Natty Bubo's is, but of course that's not going to be super easy. Archers are continuing firing on the Plague Priest, who's pretty much dead at this point. Wurrzag is trying to avoid getting surrounded by summons. I do bring in more infantry along with the Shaman, and down goes the Plague Furnace. With that down, I'm pretty much just using what magic I have to pop off Brain Burstas, also getting off the Fists of Gork. Trying to use that, especially when I'm seeing units of Plague Monks come out. These Plague Monks, of course, have physical resistance, as does Lord Scroll. So here I pop the Scroll of Shielding, there we go, on this Giant, giving him the damage resistance against all these Council Guard and their nasty, nasty halberds. And I'm trying to get him to go after Skrull, who is, of course, running away. But I'm bringing in everything I have. I've got all of my archers and most of my infantry focusing the Council Guard now. And then the Giant, I give him Fists and Gorks, and now he does magic damage. So if I can catch up to Lord Skrull... Oh, Lord Skrull doesn't actually have physical resistance. Huh. Thought for sure that he did. That's interesting. In any event, cut off another attack here with Brain Bursta. And thanks to the terror and the... I mean, we pretty much wiped out all the Skaven in that really, really big WAAAGH charge. So with that matter kindly decided, the Unbreakable unit gets mowed down by shooting. That's going to be a rather quick end to that battle. So looking here, you can basically see the way that I divvied up my army as far as points go. You know, trying to get as many Savage Orcs as I could on the field, especially because Savage Orc units are so expensive. Savage Orcs are basically the most expensive unit for every category they're in, with very minor exceptions. So we can actually go to the custom battles and take a look. And we saw the Savage Orcs did great in that fight. You know, they killed tons and tons and tons of rats. But I'll show you guys another replay here in a second of the first army I tried and how much it didn't work. The other thing I learned is that for this series, unless it is specifically requested as a sub-faction instead of a character, it's taking a thematic army and labeling it by its sub-faction is basically a death wish. Because I tried running this as the Bloody Hands with pretty much the same idea behind it. And oh my lord, I got spanked so hard because everyone would just see Bloody Hands and they're like, okay, he's going to take a Savage Orc army, so they take like a hard counter to Savage Orcs. But this is ultimately what my build was. I did start with some chevrons on the Savage Orcs, but this is kind of the idea we're running with. So if there is a certain special character or sub-faction you want to see featured, please by all means put it in the comment section down below. And now let's actually take a look at... Oop, nope. Yes. Let's take a look at the first game I played today, because here you'll see kind of the issue. So I went in against Amethyst here, who is the Empire player, and he has an army that's 3 Knights of the Blazing Sun, 2 Pistoliers, 2 grenade-launching Outriders, and a unit of regular Outriders, and then the back of his army for support is literally just 5 swordsmen, one of which is unbreakable, a bright wizard, and Boris Todbringer. So, and you'll notice that my build wasn't quite as good at this point. So I had 2 giants instead of just 1. But the thing about greenskins, which I have not played greenskins in a very long time, but if there's one thing they have not changed as far as greenskins are concerned, it's that you need numbers more than anything else. Like if I had had 5 units of Savage Orc Arrow Boys instead of just 2, I could have easily just backed up a little bit and allowed my Arrow Boys to trade favorably with all this Empire cap, but I didn't. So I'm already taking ludicrous amounts of damage. His Bright Wizard is going ham using his Overcast Fireball, which actually is not that great against Wurrzag in my opinion. I do have Wurzag's Revenge, which increases map-wide miscasting for enemies by 50%. So you'll notice over the course of this battle, this Bright Wizard's almost going to kill himself by casting magic, which I found pretty funny. But I definitely was shaky with this build to start, and I just wanted to kind of show me just failing with this build. I also fought a Tomb King player. I don't have the replay from it because I realized that my list wasn't what I wanted to be. And this is how noobish I am with greenskins. Here comes the big charge. He's gonna pop WAAAGH. He's gonna pop WAAAGH. Here comes the big charge. No WAAAGH. Nothing. Nope. I totally forgot WAAAGH was a thing. And I charge in my orcs here after a ranged unit, so I get flank charged by Knights of the Blazing Sun. I don't commit my giants very much because I'm trying to babysit Wurrzag from Boris, which this wouldn't have been as big of an issue if I'd had a secondary shaman to make sure that my infantry was still being led by someone. I also was having a really hard time finding a home for my spells. Because I was popping Brain Bursters, which actually do really good damage to the Pistoliers, but I hadn't quite gotten down the delay for how long it takes to cast. So here Boris comes down, and I'm like, alright, I got him. So I pop Effigy of Git, have a Giant come in. I don't use Fists of Gork on the Giant. I just have him. Now I pop WAAAGH. I'm like, okay, let's send in the second Giant and Wurrzag. But I didn't double check to make sure they moved around each other. So this Giant's just standing here. So that's 1, 2, probably about 3 attacks that I missed out on because this Giant just didn't get involved. And Wurrzag gets away with barely enough health to not, like, break or shatter. So if I had gotten that second Giant in there, I probably could have killed him right then. That being said, the Bright Wizard's still in, he's down to half health, and I've done nothing to him. This is all self-inflicted because of my spells. But as you can see, the battlefield's pretty rough. I don't have a ton of units left, and in this big pocket, I've eaten too many fireballs, because the way you can avoid fireballs with a character like Wurrzag is having the Giant body block for him, which I did pull off like once successfully, but there I tried to get off a Foot of Gork, but all of my infantry broke a little bit before I cast it, so they were literally able to just chase my infantry through these Giants. And these 2 Giants could easily defeat all of this if it weren't for the fact there are 5 ranged units worth of cav who can just casually shoot me in the face. Not to mention a big old Boris Todbringer who, although we get whooped by these guys, can still do a lot of damage on the charge. At this point, my army just kind of slowly but surely starts falling apart. So, you know, these are definitely, a lot of these builds definitely will require experimentation to get off correctly. So this one was definitely a failed experiment, but I'm happy I got to show you guys a winning build that second time. And I think if I had had the first build I showed y'all with the, because I had so much more to work with, you know, compared to this. Because for this, I had these really expensive Savage Orc Boy Biggins, and I had 2 Giants, which was just way too much oversaturation on heavy stuff. You know, I needed to have maybe 2 units of regular cav to just maybe chase away stuff or get some rear charges. And if I had had 4 units of Savage Orcs, and so, you know, 2 more Savage Orcs, 3 more Savage Orc Arrow Boys, but 1 less Giant, but then also an extra hero to make my Giant a lot more resistant to shooting. Oh my god, I would have been in such a better position. So the first build definitely worked for it. Would love to see if any of y'all could pull off some wins with that build. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be checking my Twitter page until we get through most of those, and then I'll be looking through the comment sections to just see which one has the most likes. And those will be the characters we build around, unless we've like already done them. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you around.